right, everybody. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to One Objective tonight. Guys, we have got a really, really good show lined up for you. We're going to be doing a big giveaway. We're going to have, this is the KBF Night of Champions. I mean, we got a Angler of the Year, and we also got a KBF National Champion winner. So, we're going to have them on. Most of you guys have been following along. You know, Russ Snyder's, he won the Angler of the Year. He also had a good event, finishing 4th. And then also, we're going to have Matt Conant. He's going to be coming on, talking about his win. He keeps talking about how this is like a story. This is like a storybook tale. You know, it's just he can't believe it's happening. I think it hasn't sunk in yet. So we're going to be talking with him. He was just on with Scott Butcher and them on the, I think it was the Westbrook show. And that was a really good interview. I watched that. He had a lot of the New Canoe guys on. Like I say, really good interview. Scott did really well on that interview. So, but before we get to all that, I want to thank all our sponsors. Got a really great group of people that support us, and I'd like for you guys, if you can, go support them. But want to give a big shout out to Native, Bonafide, Yak Attack, Baino, Falcon Rods, Missile Baits, Power Pole. Also, tonight's contest, our giveaway company, RBT Custom Crankbaits, Ron has done a lot with us in the last, Chris, 6 months? Yeah. More than that, probably.
Yeah, longer than that, yeah.
With giveaways. So, Ron, I really appreciate all that you're doing with that. Also, tonight, let me pull up that text so I can get this right so I don't tell you, wrong on it. But tonight, he's going to be doing a special offer on the Chris, let's pull up the giveaway that we're going to be doing with the RBT jerk baits. It's that time of season, getting in jerk bait season. So, he wanted to do some jerk baits tonight. And he is doing it, if you're watching the show, you can get 3 jerkbait deal for $25 plus free shipping. So you can go over to Ron and buy 3 custom painted jerkbaits for $25 with free shipping. You can't beat that. That's a heck of a deal right there. Yeah. And these jerkbaits work phenomenally. They are good jerkbaits. I actually got a couple that I've been using. So anytime during the show, I know you don't want to miss much of the show, but anytime during the show, go over there, check out the RBT custom baits, and order you some jerk baits. So, also, before we get into this, I want to tell everybody, please check out OneObjectiveBF.com. We got apparel in, we got some shirts in. We've been selling those. I appreciate everybody that's been buying them. We got stickers. And then also, we got our kayak mounts, and we're going to be adding a few other things here in the coming weeks, starting out with some shaky heads. We're going to have some shaky heads. We're going to start out with just having them raw until we get around to, start doing some painting, custom ones. We're also going to be offering drop shots. So check those out. And then we also have some flick shake heads. I think we're going to get some Carolina rig weights and all that. So if you're looking for shaky heads and drop shot weights and all that, we're going to start getting more into that on the tackle side. And we're also going to be having more tackle coming up. Hopefully work out something with RBT or something. I don't know. We're going to have all kinds of baits coming up there. So, but anyways, I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Chris, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
And we ain't done no fishing. It's been rain. Well, especially this weekend. It ain't nothing but rain.
It's rain unless you want to fish in the rain.
Yeah, I mean we can, but I don't. If I ain't got to, I don't want to.
No, not really.
And then, man, I'll tell you what. I've had a massive back issue since, I don't know, Wednesday, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Went over to help the church out doing something, come home and feel fine, and all of a sudden, before you know it, it was like my sciatic nerve just kicked in. I never had issues with that. So I was supposed to be going out fishing like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And, dude, I could barely roll out to bed. Like, I knew getting in a kayak was not going to be a good situation.
No, it wouldn't be a good time.
No. So I just... we was going to go out and do some filming, but we're going to go down. We're going to have some new videos coming up here soon on our YouTube page. So make sure if you haven't followed us on YouTube, go over and check us out, One Objective. And then we got a lot of kayak videos. We're getting more into the outdoor things. Hunting season's coming. Well, it's here now.
Yeah.
But we're going to be filming some hunting. My son has been dying to go hunting. I took him a couple times. He's ready to shoot one. So I'm going to be doing a lot of filming with going out hunting. James is going to be doing some filming. Then hopefully me and you can get out and do some fishing. Me and James can do some fishing. And then also we're getting into like just the other odd end things that we do. ATVs.
Go-karts.
My son got into go-kart racing, so we're going to be filming some of that stuff. So you'll see some different videos coming up on OneObjective when it comes to, the other side of things besides just bass fishing. So if you're into that, let us know. If you like seeing kind of what else we do other than bass fishing, let us know. We'd like to hear from you. Also, guys, in the comments, Chris is going to be picking a winner out of our comments. So just make sure, you're kind of staying vocal in our comments. And, if you're asking questions for our guests, we're going to be doing 2 different contests, though, tonight with the RBT. And then we're also going to be picking a winner for our brand new, Chris, have you seen it? Our new Yak Caddy?
Yeah,
Yak Caddy.
Not in person,
Cup Caddy. Yeah. So they're going to be shipping Thursday. We have sold the fire out of them things, man. I appreciate everybody that's bought them. We really didn't think it was going to take off like that. It did really well. So we're going to be giving away one of the cup. You got that up there, Chris?
Yeah, I got it up there now.
So we'll be giving away one of the Cup Caddies. This goes right on your Yak Attack cup. I believe it fits a few other different brands, too, depending on what kind of cup you got on there for your kayak. But pretty cool little idea that we came up with, and we've been using it, love it. I think it's a pretty neat little product to have. It just kind of takes your organization to the next level when it comes to, instead of just having everything piled in a cup or having to have 20 different cups on your boat, or 3 different cups, shall we say.
Yeah.
It kind of puts everything down to a smaller area, and it gives you areas to, latch your stuff onto and all that.
The video lagged out on us, guys. It's
What's going on?
lagged out on the video. Lagged out. I don't know if anybody saw it or not, but it lagged out.
Okay. Are we back up and good? We're good going now? Okay.
I think so.
Also in the comments tonight, guys, also let us know where you're listening from. We love to know where everybody's from, who we got in here. And then if you don't mind, before we get Russ Snyder on, which we're going to have him here on just a little bit, make sure you share this, because I want to give all these guys the attention that they deserve, especially Matt. And this is rookie of the year kind of deal. I mean, he's, just kind of getting into this, and he's always fished, always been in the outdoors, but being competitive and getting into the whole fishing kayak tournament thing, this is new for him. So, but like I say, if you don't mind, take a second, go down, hit the share button. That's all you got to do. And let's get some people on here. Let's get some questions and all that. So don't be bashful. Don't be bashful. Make sure you ask these people some questions, because
Adam wants Mass to show off his monster bucks.
His monster bucks. Yeah. Well, maybe we can ask him, man. I mean, he's gonna be on Skype, so maybe we can get his phone and get him to shine his phone around and see some of the monster bucks. So but he's gonna be coming on about 8:45ish. We're gonna have Russ Snyder on first. Chris, what time do we got right now?
9 after.
9 after. So we're gonna call Russ Snyder up, and we're gonna be talking to him about his AOI. And then we just had him on. I say just had him on. Last time we had him on was November 25th. I was looking at this, and that's when he won the AOI for last year. So we're going to have him on again, talking about his AOI. I mean, that's a feat in itself, winning back-to-back AOIs. That's tough, and that goes to show you what kind of fisherman he is. But some of these new guys coming in, I think it's going to be a good run-in next year. You got Jackson Orr. He's 17 years old. He's coming in, man. Him and his dad do a lot of tournaments, and he's a heck of a fisherman. He had a good chance at the KBF National Championship. Just couldn't finish it up at the end of the day, or just couldn't get the big bites, and it was just tough, man. I feel bad to see that happen. So, but Chris, let's go ahead and call Russ Snyder,
right.
Get him on. Y'all get to listen to this awesome Skype music that we always love to listen to. I wish we could change it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I'll text him in just a second. Let him know we're going to call. He's probably trying to get set up.
Yeah.
And okay. All right. Sent that to him. Let him know we're calling him now. You might just have to wait on that.
I'll hang it up. We'll try it.
Yeah, we'll try him back here just a second. So get him on here in a minute. Like say, I just want to go over, like, how do you, I mean, don't get me wrong. When it's your time, but there's also a lot to being able to be consistent, especially when you're fishing so many different bodies of water. And then to be consistent in a time when you got COVID and you got all that. I mean, that's tough. It's tough to you got everything you got to go through just getting to some of these events, and the crap you got to go through, and to be able to be away from family and all that, and just to be as consistent as he is, and then the weather we've had this year with the amount of rain, depending on where you're at, it's just been one of them crazy years. So, but he said he thinks he's signed. He said, "I think I'm signed in." Try it again and see.
We'll try him here now.
See what happens. If nothing else, we'll just call his. We'll call his number.
Yeah, it ain't gonna go.
Okay. All right, we're just gonna call him now. Here, Chris, I'm gonna give you this. Here is.
Text it to me.
Yeah, here you go. There's his number right there. Yep, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes you just go through this. I don't know if he's just having technical issues on his side with Skype.
Let's give him a phone call.
Chris is going to dial him up here. We're going to get him on and get to talking to him. But like I say, if you haven't already, in the comments below, let us know where you're listening from. We're going to be giving away a OneObjective Cup Caddy, and we're going to be giving away an RBT custom baits jerk bait set. So I think just looking at them, those colors, you got some really, really great colors there. So
oh crap!
There we go.
I done dialed the wrong number.
Oh. Oh man!
Let me help if I type the right number in here.
Yeah. We'll get some crazy dude on here. Hello. Why you call me this late at night? I'm trying to sleep. But
done it right.
All right, Chris is gonna try it.
That number. All right.
All right, Chris is gonna get. We got it right this time.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do audio tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You may have to text him and tell him to answer it because it may be showing up
Yeah.
as a weird number.
What a night. There you go. All right. Well, we're gonna see. This is crazy.
Hi, this is Russ Snyder. I'm unavailable at the
All
time.
right.
Please leave
Well, man, what a show. This is wrapping up real good already.
Oh man.
Oh, man. All right, let's try this again.
Oh, he's coming.
What the heck is that all about?
He's here.
All right, we got you, Russ.
There we go. My iPad. I just got a new iPhone, and the Skype wasn't on there. The app wasn't on there yet. And I was trying to use my iPad, but for some reason it wasn't connected to the. So you get the video here. Yeah, it wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi. So.
I got you. I understand. It's not a problem, man. Hey, normally we're used to it because most of the time it's something on our end. So, I mean, when we have technical issues, it's we're kind of used to it. But we just kind of wing it here and hope for the best when everything goes down. So, but
Can you see me? I got a weird screen on here. I want to make sure I'm in the frame and whatnot.
We getting everything pulled up, Chris?
I don't have him on screen.
He said he ain't got you on screen yet there.
You might need to hit the camera.
Hit the camera button down there in the
There
bottom.
he is.
I did.
All right, yep, got you now. So, got him now, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, Chris is building everything up there. But Russ, let's talk about it, man. I was looking at last time we talked was November 25th, 2019. And I mean, that was another angle of the year. It's hard to even fathom back-to-back angle of the years when there's so many good fishermen. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, you had everything go your way. You was able to work it out, and then the year that we've had with COVID and it's been a crazy year. I mean, is there anything that happened during the year, like that was some key things that just really helped solidify this? Or was it just kind of like crazy and you're just like, I can't believe this is happening?
It's more just kind of crazy. I don't believe it's happening. I mean, obviously I put in a lot of hard work and I try to just try to kind of keep everything the same, and I'm trying to just simplify my life as much as possible, and try to focus on just the fishing, and not have too many distractions or obligations or stuff like that. Really makes a difference, and just being able to put all my energy into catching those little green fish or brown ones.
Yeah. I like them both, but I really like the brown ones. But yeah, and like I say that, you're talking about distractions and all that. I mean, when life, you hear a lot of pros talk all the time. When life is right at home, life is right on the water. And I mean, when you ain't got the distractions, you ain't got hardships, you ain't got whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How do you get those things out of your head?
I've just been fortunate. A lot of those things are kind of out of your control. Life happens and things happen, and you just got to be grateful for the times when everything is going right, and and just grateful for myself for having the opportunity to be able to do this and live out my dream. Really, it's been definitely surreal, and it's been really exciting, and I don't know how long it's going to continue for, but like I said, I'm trying to keep everything just the same for as long as I can, because I know eventually it's not going to stay like this forever. Yeah. But it's been a lot of fun, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So you're just going to ride the train there as long as you can until till it derails there. But I mean, hopefully it don't. I mean, you're a consistent fisherman. Everything all right, Chris? I see something.
It's dropping out for some reason. It's
okay.
Being wonky tonight.
I got you. But it's probably all the weather and all that too tonight. Yeah. So, but yes, I mean, when you're talking about keeping it simple and all that, when it comes to techniques, do you have a lot of different techniques, or are you just kind of a simple man where it's like I got a couple this and a couple baits and that's all we're doing?
I'm pretty well rounded and comfortable with a lot of different techniques, but there are my certain things that I'm really confident and comfortable with. Most of that's power fishing, whether it's flipping. It seems like a lot of my tournaments this year were where I did well was where I was flipping. Either whether it be a light little 1/4 or 3/8 ounce creature bait, or an 1.5 ounce punching it through thick mats and grass, or anything in between, whether it's grass or wood, or but yeah, all different types of cover. I've been doing a lot of flipping and a lot of top water too. I've had a lot of success on especially buzz baits, some frogs. Excuse me. Haven't really been throwing crankbaits too much this year. It is something I'm pretty confident with. Hold on a second.
No, you're fine.
There we go. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of crankbaits. Haven't done a lot of jerk baits, and mostly it's been just between the flipping and the top water. Sometimes dragging a jig or a shaky head when I have to, but yeah, it's sticking to keeping it simple. A lot of lakes we've been going to too, I've just been able to fish my strengths. I've been focusing on more shallow water stuff. Haven't had to do a lot of deep water fishing where I'm looking at my electronics or any of that. Just been, we've been at lakes where I could do that stuff, but I just try to, find a pattern with something that I'm a little more comfortable with, just hitting targets and, ambush points and seeing all the stuff visually rather than having, and I still do use my electronics for shallow water fishing too, even side scan stuff like that, just to see things, that are underwater, whether it's lay down or rock pile or something, that I can't see, even if it's in 3-4 feet of water. Electronics are still good for finding a lot of that stuff. But yeah, mostly I'm just trying to cover water. I fish really fast, make a lot of casts, and try to find the active, aggressive fish.
Yeah, and I mean that's what you've done, just covering water. You know what I mean? And you kind of look at it like say MLF style. You're just covering water, trying to find as much fish as you can. So you'd pretty much say you're not really. I'm not saying you can't do it, but this year you've been mainly just hitting the shallow stuff. You hasn't been really a deep bite for you at all.
Trying to think of how many fish I've caught deep or any tournament even I've had to fish deep. One doesn't even come to mind, to be honest, the whole year. I can't think of, that was I think last year, Dale Hollow, I was using that Damiki rig, but every tournament from Florida, we started out in Florida. I was flipping there. We went to Lake Fork, Texas. I was flipping there, and where else? Kentucky Lake. This too, I was fishing back in some creeks there. Fort Loudon, I was fishing up a river. I was doing some like shaky heads and stuff for the smallies, smallmouth on like natural rock and riprap banks. But I wasn't fishing anything deeper than like 10 feet. That's one of the places, I guess, where I had the spinning rod in my hand at least.
Yeah.
And we'll be going back there too for the Hobie Championships. I'm looking forward to doing that again, chasing some smallmouth.
Yeah.
Even Lanier, which is a spotted bass fishery and has a lot of people are successful there using their electronics and fishing for those spotted bass, but even that tournament, I went way upriver and was targeting largemouth there as well, mostly flip-in and reaction baits and topwater and stuff like that. So it seems like almost every lake that we've been to, there's at least somewhere where either a creek runs in or there's grass or there's, somewhere at every lake, even the lakes that aren't known for that. Especially when you could fish out of a kayak. Most bass boat tournaments wouldn't even think really of doing a lot of shallow water fishing at Lanier, but in a kayak it just you can hit some more areas and be a little more efficient in that shallow water backwater stuff. So
and that's what we're kind of getting here is you're keying in on what you like to fish. So when you go and pre-fish or whatever, you're hitting stuff that you're confident in. You're not just going crazy and like, I know people are catching them deep on drop shots. I'm going to do it. You're doing your thing. You do, like you say, what's simple and you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And, I don't listen to a lot of dock talk. I'll hear my friends out, and if there's some other kind of bite, if it's something I don't really want to do, dropping drop shots and shaky heads on brush piles or something like that. I'll have it in the back of my mind just in case I can't find something, but it seems like I've always just been able to find some shallow water to fish. And, luckily seems like the weather, this last tournament, there was a big weather change, but a lot of the tournaments this year, it's, that weather's just stayed consistent from pre-fishing into the tournament, which doesn't happen often, but it seems like, God, lately it's just been doing that every time. This Gunnersville was, at the NC there was one of the exceptions where there was a big weather change like that. But
yeah,
I did fall back on a backup plan for that one. My main deal was that I was doing pre-fishing was kind of dying off. But yeah, it's always good to have a backup plan. And I try to have several options or fish areas, where I have options of doing different things, different but the same, still sticking shallow. But, for instance, this last tournament at the national championship, I was fishing, pre-fishing, I was fishing the main river, upriver a ways and targeting outside edges of grass clumps. The weed edge only came out maybe 15, 20 feet, which I liked. I don't like fishing like the majority of Gunnersville right now is just these huge giant fields of grass mats, and it's a lot just like finding a needle in a haystack, and it's just hard to see where your targets and where those ambush points are going to be. So I went upriver where there was still grass up there, and it was actually healthier grass than a lot of the rest of the lake, but I was just, punching, or not even punching, just casting those outside weed edges wherever the current hit. And they would only bite though when the sun was out. And on that last day, those clouds came in, so I had to kind of scrap that main river deal that I was on and go way back up in a creek and throw a buzzbait around. And it worked out. And I had, the first day of pre-fishing, I found those fish up the creek, and I said, okay, those are there. Let's see, in case that creek bite's good, or in case they push out of this creek, let's see how the main river is right outside of it. And that's when I found a bunch of main river fish. So I felt, it's always good going into a tournament to have a couple options that are both, within a short distance of each other. And yeah, so it worked out.
So let's say, let's pick your brain a little bit here, and for people that are kind of getting into this or haven't quite got on the practice game, when you go in and you find Plan A and Plan B during practice, and let's say daggone Plan A and Plan B is good. You know what I mean? Like you got a topwater bite back there, but you got your flipping bite here. When do you say, okay, this is going to be my main one, and this is going to be my secondary one? I know fish size can be a big factor in that, but knowing that places are going to hold up. I mean, what's your deciding factor in that?
I mean, if both of those places kind of, fell apart on me, I probably would just go to a whole nother part of the lake and fish blind. Just look at the conditions, try to understand why those two areas aren't going to, be doing well, and just try to clear my head of, at that point, if I'm scrapping Plan A and Plan B, I'm just going to forget about everything and start fresh and look at what the weather conditions, the water levels are doing, all that, and say, okay, what makes sense with what's going on right now? And, done that before. I can't think of a tournament that I've had to do that. Like I say, most of the tournaments this year, seems like the weather conditions and everything have stayed pretty stable, and I've been able to fish what I was planning on fishing. But tournaments in the past, last year even, there's times where I just get up and move and just scrap everything. It's hard to do. It's probably one of the hardest things to do in tournament fishing, is to, especially when you work so hard to find a bunch of fish, and you feel like you got a good chance of winning, and to be honest with yourself and say this isn't going to happen, and just start over. It's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah,
for sure. But,
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's different. It's different in a bass boat because you can just hammer down and go on down to the next spot. But when depending on the lake you're at too, and depending on like if you're way up a river and you want to go on down to the lower end to fish something different, I mean, that's some travel time. That's loading and unloading, and it's a lot. It's a lot to it when you make that decision.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that. We were having to pre-fish during the Bassmaster event that was out there on Gunnersville. And there was a couple guys that were upriver there fishing. The guy that was leading it the first day, Kyle Welcher, he was up in that area. And he was running around all over the place. He'd hit one little stretch for a little bit and bounce around over here, hit one little stretch, and just flying around all over the place. And then the second day, he did good. He had 19 pounds that first day. The second day, he went all the way up there and fished for like half an hour, and then said, it's not happening. He's getting a few spotted bass. So he ran 60 miles all the way to the opposite end of the lake, to the dam on Gunnersville, from one end of the lake to the other, and man. And I used to do that too when I had a bass boat, and I'm a firm believer that's usually not a good idea. I mean, it works out for some guys, but I'm telling you right now, if he would have just put his trolling motor down and just gone down the bank and not lifted up that trolling motor all day, he would have absolutely blew the field away, because there's big ones out there. I was getting some pretty big limits out there when those Bassmaster guys were fishing, and I just kept going down the bank. I hit a couple 100 yards, and I wouldn't get anything, and then all of a sudden have an area where the current just hit those weeds just right, and it'd be bam, bam, bam. You get like 3 fish, and then you keep going down the bank, weren't getting anything, and then bam, bam, bam. It was just the whole 10 miles, 10, 12. I fished about 10 miles, both sides, pre-fishing, and I saw a couple of the bass boats go in there, and some of the guys, like I think the guy that won he was kind of close by. He's a little, he wasn't too far away, but there was other guys there that they had the opportunity to absolutely just crush them, but they were just running around too much. And kayak fishing's, it's really opened my eyes to make me realize that, if you find fish in an area, just because they're not biting what you want them to bite, you're better off like understanding why they're not biting that lure and saying, okay, what are they going to eat, rather than just running around some other part of the lake and another spot and another spot. And, I saw it firsthand, and kind of an eye opener to me to see them kind of making some mistakes there. I feel like, but
Yeah. Well, that's something I've told other people. If you want to up your kayak, up your fishing game, get in a kayak for about a year, 2 years, and fish the ramps that you normally put in at. I said, you will learn that there's so much fish around that boat ramp that you really don't have to run that far. It's just you gotta figure them out. And there were spots that I used to put in at and blast off, and I'd come back at the end of the day and fish it, trying to catch a little keeper or upgrade or something. But I've learned now, and I put in these spots, like how many good spots are actually there that I never even give it a chance, to try to figure it out.
Yeah. It'll make you a better fisherman for sure. It's a lot of bass boat guys. I've talked to a few others who've said the same thing, had the same experience. They're like, man, I was running around way too much in this bass boat. I should, so many times I should just buckle down and really learn the area that I'm fishing and figure out a few different ways to catch them rather than catching them on a jig over here and 20 miles down the lake catching them on a buzzbait over there, and having all different ways or different patterns, but they're at different parts of the lake, and you don't get a good enough understanding, I don't think, of what's going on when you're doing that, the big picture anyways.
Yeah, well, that's just, for instance, they had the KBF Super Tournament with Smith Mountain Lake I fished 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and that spots that I were fishing, when this time of year I always have spots I love throwing a spinnerbait on when the wind's hitting, and it wasn't those spots, like they were never in it. And then I started fishing this one ramp I put in at and couldn't believe how many big fish were right there just burning the spinnerbait, or hitting and didn't get them all in. But I was like, man, I got a whole new stretch of bank, several hundred yards of bank here that hold fish, the big fish. Just never even paid no mind it was there. So, kayak fishing, like you say, it really ups your game when it comes to just putting your head down and grinding in a spot and learning that spot. It's good.
Big believer in that.
Yeah. So let's kind of talk about what's going on with Russ. I know you're not done with this year, but what is your plans looking at as in next year? You're going to try to fish all the KBF? You're going to do more of the Hobie? Are you going to do much of the bass stuff? Or are you going to try to do just whatever you can fit in?
I'm going to do it all. As much as I can. Hopefully, I've been doing a little better this year. I've been doing a lot of tournaments, a lot of traveling, but really making it a point to try to, in between the tournaments, try to make sure to catch up on sleep and try to eat good. I had a hard this last week. I've been eating just garbage down there when I was in Alabama, and I'm paying the price right now. But just trying to get some sleep and take care of myself as good as I can. And just try to step away from fishing too. When I was out there for this Gunnersville tournament, I fished last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I liked what I saw, and it was a ways away from the tournament though. And I was pretty excited about what I found. But if I just kept fishing, I felt like I was gonna maybe just overload myself with too much info or spin myself out a little. So I, took a few days off and just kind of hung out, did some camping with my friends, and tried not to think about fishing for a little bit. And then when I went back, I allowed myself one more day of pre-fish on Monday. Even took Tuesday off of the tournament and just rigged all my tackle and all my stuff. And just make sure to have everything dialed in just right. I was fortunate. Sometimes you don't really have the option of doing that, but I was pretty excited about what I saw. And like I said, I knew I had a plan A and a plan B. And the plan A ended up, not kind of fizzling out. So I was fortunate to fall back on that plan B, but just taking that time to kind of unwind and not just overload my brain from just thinking and just putting long hours on the water. And that is important. Sometimes you do have to do it, but there's been a number of times this year where we're just kind of stepping back a little bit and trying not to overload myself too much. I think it's really helped me a lot.
Yeah, and that's kind of a question I was actually going to ask you soon. You was talking about, not overloading yourself. Is there a point, because I see there was guys down there like 2 weeks before the event, and just and hitting it hard. I mean, is there a point for you, like you say, that there's just too much pre-fishing? I mean, you see these elite guys, they're fishing 3 days for an event, on practice on a normal year. And this year's been kind of weird. But they have a couple of days of practice, but it ain't like a lot. Do you think there can be too much pre-fishing where it could actually just spin you out?
Yeah, and I thought that's what I was worried about doing for this last tournament. I was a little bit worried about because I got there so early and just kind of the time frame. I didn't want to be there over the weekend and kind of wanted to get there a little earlier. I didn't want people seeing where I was fishing and concentrating too. So I decided to get there a little early. But yeah, you can definitely. I was worried even with that tournament just because it was so far before that things could completely change. So, and you can't, I know a couple of the guys that I do know that were out there pre-fishing a ton. A couple come to mind. I know were Gene Jensen and Brad Case. They were out there for like a month straight, and they had some days where they just absolutely crushed them from what I heard. And, but then come tournament time, they ended up not doing so well. So it's, it can definitely, when you find when you're there it's that long, and you find these really good areas and get excited about them. It's hard not to get stuck on that and just fish the current conditions. And like I said, it very well could have happened to me. I was worried about it, especially because a couple of the Bassmaster guys were up there too, and I knew the kayak guys were going to be watching Bass Live, and that's why I took that time off too on Friday, Saturday. Was I thought I already kind of knew the area I wanted to fish, but I thought it would be smarter rather than running around all over the place while the elite guys were there on the final 2 days. I thought it'd be more beneficial just to watch Bass Live and learn the rest. I figure I can learn the rest of the lake faster that way rather than actually, hitting a couple ramps a day.
Yeah.
So it worked out good. And, I saw some other areas where those elite guys were doing well. But, the thing is all the rest of the kayak guys kind of saw the same thing too. But, if I had to, if I went out, I would decide to go out that one day. I had Monday and Tuesday to get back out there and pre-fish. I hit it Monday, and the stuff that I was, fishing was looked like it was holding up, but it was also changing. But I just decided just to commit to it. If I couldn't find something, if I went out that Monday and it wasn't good, then I was going to have Tuesday to try to fish some new water the day before the tournament. So that was my game plan going into that one. And I was really focusing on, because I knew the lake was going to get so much pressure too. They had the Elite Series out there. They had a 300 boat frog tournament and a 300 kayak. On Saturday that Spro tournament was out there, and they had a bunch of kayaks. So that's why I decided I wanted to find the area that was getting the least amount of pressure, and historically it's actually the least productive area on the lake, which was that upper part of the river. And I rather have, my theory going into it is I rather have kind of less fish to fish for, but have more space to figure them out. And there wasn't a lot of press. I was kind of surprised because there was a couple guys in the Elite Series that did well up there, and there were kayaks up there, but there was still probably the section of the lake that had the least amount of pressure, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was going to say was, if me and James talked about this, you would be crazy if you wasn't at least spending a day or two at home watching live, whether you're just sitting on the lake in your kayak watching live, because all your pre-fishing is right there. Granted, you can't run like them, but all your pre-fishing is right there. And But before we get any questions, Chris, I think you said you got a question for us. Before we get into that, guys that are just tuning in, we're getting more and more people coming in. If we got Russ Snyder on, the Angle of the Year for the KBF, please share it, guys. We're trying to get as much exposure as we can to these guys. Share it with your friends while we're live. Also, we're doing a giveaway tonight, so stay tuned to the end. Chris is going to be picking a winner for our Cup Caddy and also an RBT custom jerk baits. So we're going to be doing a giveaway with that. Also, If you go to RBT Custom Baits, he's doing a $25 jerkbait pack, custom painted jerkbaits. You get 3 of them. Make sure you check him out at RBT Custom Baits, and it's only while the show's going on. So, but anyways, Chris, what question we got, buddy?
Chris Cabral's wanting to know, out of 365 days, how many of them are you home?
Say it again. I couldn't hear that.
Out of 365 days, how many days do you get to be home?
This year, at least 100. I'd say a lot of the tournaments were pretty close. You know, I'm fortunate enough to live here in Middle Tennessee, and there's everywhere pretty much on the whole Tennessee River is within a 2.5 hour drive of me. So Lake Lanier was close. There's a few places I had to travel a ways, and I did that 2-month-long road trip kind of across for 2.5 months, I guess, across the country. But I was home a good amount. I'd say probably 100, at least 100 days, maybe a little more.
Wow. People don't realize, I mean, that's a lot of time. It sounds like a lot of time at home, but you're also still gone a lot. You know what I mean? Like 100 days.
Oh, yeah.
That's way more than a guy that goes, here every other weekend or, here and there. I mean, that's a lot of time, and that's what people don't understand when these guys that are at the top of the level. You know what I mean? You always got, let's say, an average tournament. I don't know. Let's just throw 200 number. That's not how many you normally get at these, but let's just say 200. There's always that group of like 20 to 25 guys they're always up there, and it's because they put the time in. They put the effort into homework before they get there. It's just a lot to it, man. And like you say, you put some long hours in on practices and all that. So it's a lot of work to it to be able to stay competitive in this sport.
Well, it is. It's a lot of work. It's gonna sacrifice some too. And so but yeah, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. I think that goes for a lot of people that are doing this, that are passionate about it. If you're, passionate about anything, it's, that hard work it's not really work if you really enjoy doing it. I mean, it is, but it's nobody else. I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I'm sure a lot of other people would say the same.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, you say we got one more question?
Yeah, Brandon wants to know, with so much success in your career, what's left on your bucket list to win?
That's a good question.
The Hobie coming up, the next tournament, Hobie BOS championship there at Fort Loudon Lake in Knoxville. That's a big one. That's my next one. I got that one in the the final bass event at Chickamauga, and that'll finish out the year. But if I can, I think I'm second right now for points for Angler of the Year for Hobie, and if I just end up in the top 4, I'll be more than happy with that. Yeah. I think top 3, Jody's leading angler. Jody Queen's leading Angler of the Year right now. He's had a hell of a year. He's a hell of a great guy too. Really, really nice guy. Everybody loves him. So I'm rooting for him as well. So he's already got a spot in the Hobie Worlds. So I think they're taking 3 from the championship or 3 from the TOC. But if Jody's one of those 3, then it'll run down to 4 spots. So I'd really like the opportunity to go to Hobie Worlds. I think any kayak fisherman that's fishing those Hobie events, or just any kayak fisherman in general, there's the shot to go to Hobie Worlds. It's a really special opportunity, and I'd be thrilled. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's you have been really successful, and like I say, when you start winning tournaments and AOIs, and you kind of sit back and go, dang, what do I want to win? What is the next thing I want to win? And you ask some of the other guys, you ask elite guys, and they're like the next event. You know what I mean? Like they're not worried about, you get some guys that are like, I'd love to win an AOI or something like that, or a Bassmasters Classic or something, but a lot of them are always like the next event. They don't go much further than that. They're focused on that next event. So one more question for you before I let you go, and this is kind of a question that it always hits me when I'm on the water and things are spinning out. How when you're having a tough event, how do you keep control? Do you kind of sit back and just chill for a second, or you just put your head down and keep grinding? How do you get over that? Let's say a 5-pounder gets off and then a 4-pounder gets off.
This last tournament, this last tournament at the national championship was got to be the most fish I've ever lost in a tournament. I don't know if I had the guy who won, he won by a pretty significant margin. If I caught all the fish I lost, I probably would have won. But yeah, every day I had a first day of the tournament, I had a 19-incher, I'd say. I was flipping, and as soon as I hooked it, it was coming right at the boat. It jumped up right next to the boat, and I pulled on it, and actually came off the hook, landed in the kayak, flopped around 2 times or so, and flopped right out the other side. So I lost that one. I lost 2 about 18-incher. I lost a number of other ones the first day too. That was the big one. I lost a couple about 18-inchers. One of them was a big spotted bass actually on the second day, and on the third day on the buzzbait, I lost an absolute giant. I had it on for a while. It was almost at the boat. It was a good 8 pounds. It was a fat one though. It was at least 22, if not 23 inches. And just kept jumping, took me in circles around the kayak, and finally I could see it was barely hooked. And a lot of them were doing that. I think it's just because of the pressure and stuff like that. And also lost probably about a 20-incher that day too. It's about a 4-pounder. It was this long, skinny one. Same thing. I had it on for a while, and it came off. And even after that 8-pounder and the other one, I yelled for a second, threw out a cuss word, but then I was able to just put it behind me. I mean, I thought about it a little bit throughout the day, but I was pretty good at just trying to put it behind me and stay in the moment and keep focused and not letting it rattle me. And I knew it's easier to do that when you're having a lot of success in the tournaments too. Just kind of believe it, even when I lose fish in other tournaments, I've lost fish, and I've just put my head down and tried not to think about it, and then it ends up working out, and I've still, won tournaments. And it, halfway through the day, it could have gone a very different way where I lose that big fish, and it's happened to me a bunch in the past. Like I said, if I wasn't having the success that I've been having, I'd probably be getting spun out a lot easier, getting a lot more frustrated, and getting letting it get to me. But because I just have the confidence that it's somehow, some way, it's going to work out. And even if it doesn't, that I'm okay with it. I'm just going to, realize that fish come off and things happen and things aren't always going to go, your way. And having that just positive mental attitude it'll make a big difference in the long run. You're better off just being able to do that than letting it get to you, spin you out, and just thinking about how much money you saw slip off your hook.
Yeah, that's what gets me. And it ain't really for me. Like I said, I don't do tournament fishing for a living like a lot of you guys, or everything's based around it. But for me, I just look at it as the pride thing of I know at the end of the day, that little say you're having a rough day, and all you need is that 16-inch fish to get the cut. And all day that's going to get you. And then you look at the leaderboard at the end of the day and you're like 2 inches out, and you're like, God, I needed that fish. That's where it gets me. I'm like, man, it's the pride thing. You want to finish as high as you possibly can just to say that you had that day and you did all you could, and this is where you finished at. And when you miss some big fish, it's just like, I don't even know what I could have done to turn it around,
Yeah. I guess it's harder if you, do something if I lose a fish and I know it was because of my error or something that I did to, I should have had that fish and I just messed up, Yeah. I'll probably a little harder on myself when it comes to that than if it's just one of those things where I did everything right and then it just comes off, or it's just, sometimes there's nothing you can do and it's just out of your control. But when I make those errors and I know it was my fault, those ones get to me more for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, most definitely. Hey, Chris, before we let him go, do we got any other questions? I want to make sure we get everybody's questions or comments.
No.
All right, cool. Russ, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on tonight. I know you guys are worn out. Y'all just want some sleep. You want some you just need some peace and quiet. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. And, man, best of luck to you in the Hobie event coming up. And like I say, who knows, we might have you on again if you end up wrapping up AOI or winning, you know. So,
Hopefully.
but I mean, it's just crazy. I'm just sitting here looking. I'm like, man, we're in October, ain't November yet, but we're so close to the last time we had you on a show because of AOI again. So, congratulations to you, man. And I think the guys like you with your positive mental attitude and just how you carry yourselves is great for the sport and really are what, to me, is what a professional fisherman looks like. You know what I mean? They carry themselves well.
Thanks, Josh. That means a lot.
So, but yeah.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk and have me on the show there. And and I'd also really like to thank my sponsors, iRod Fishing and Dakota Lithium for all they've done to support me over the last couple seasons here. And, big thanks to the tournament directors right now, Chad Hoover and AJ. And I know, they've both been under a lot of stress this year and have just worked really, really hard to give us anglers, the opportunity to do this. And for me to, live out my dream, really. This is, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to compete in these tournaments and stuff. So, and like I said, they've worked really hard, and I just really want to thank them for their sacrifice and their, all their hard work.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot of work, and I spoke with Chad today, and just, some of the issues they had here and there with the KBF event, and he's just stressed, and, I'm just like, man, it's what y'all are doing. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes right now.
Yeah.
So it takes a special person to even do what you're doing. So keep your head up, man, and just keep grinding, So
I agree.
But Russ, I appreciate it, man. Good luck to you the rest of this year, and then if we don't talk to you before next year, good luck for the 2021 season.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it, bud.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. It's always every time I've talked to Russ, he's always just a lucky go guy. Did I say that right, Chris?
Happy-go-lucky.
Happy-go-lucky. There we go. Happy-go-lucky guy. Like, he just, that's guy. If you talk to guys on the elite tour like Gerald Swindle, Brandon Polinick, some of the ones that went over in MLF, Kevin Van Dam's, all of them guys, they're all, they all have bad days and they can, be in bad mood sometimes. But for most part, when they're talking and they come off the water in an event, they did everything they could. They don't blame, nothing else except if it's something they did. And they carry that attitude. And then, a day later, if it had a bad event, they're good to go. You know what I mean? Like, they don't carry it with them. And so guys like Russ, guys like Derek Brunley, guys like Jody Queen, the list goes on. Barry Davis, all of them, they're just easy to talk to guys. They love what they do, and they don't let it get to their head, or they always try to keep a good, positive attitude on what they're about to get into, or if they had a bad day, they learn from it, So I love talking to these guys. Before we get, which we are running late, we need to go ahead and get Matt on here. Before we get him on, if you guys are with us, please share this. I want to give Matt a lot of attention. Not knocking KBF, not knocking Scott, not knocking nobody. I just couldn't find a lot with where he won with like the a lot of exposure there. Maybe they haven't got everything up yet. So not putting that on nobody. I just had a hard time finding any kind of pictures or anything talking about it. So I want to give Matt as much exposure as we can. So if you're before we get him on, while we're making the phone call, please share this on your page. Let's get him as much exposure as he can get. He deserves it. He was on with Scott Butcher earlier. Got a lot of attention there. Scott did a really good interview with him and Derek. And like I say, I just want to give him as much attention as we can. So make sure you share it on there, Chris. Let's go ahead and call him up. Let's go ahead and get him on. I also want to thank all the people that's been following us. I see it coming across the board there. I just want to thank everybody that's been following us and following OneObjective and all that. So, hey, Matt, we got you, buddy.
What's happening? You got me?
Oh, yeah, we got you. Chris is just building up your page. Chris, just let him know if he needs to change anything or all that. But Chris is building up your page right now. Everything good, Chris?
Yeah.
All right. Man, how are you doing tonight, man? I know you have been busy, man. You was on with Scott Butcher earlier. I mean, you just got home at, what, 5 o'clock in the morning? I mean, it's just been crazy time for you right now.
Yes, it's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild. I got home at 5 a.m. this morning, got a few hours of sleep, and the phone hasn't stopped since.
Yeah. I mean, it's a double-edged sword when you win an event like that. You know, like you're excited. You just won a lot of money. You just beat some of the best kayak anglers in the world, but yet then there comes a price with it too. Interviews and all that.
Yeah. I've never thought about this side of it all, but I'm learning.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure with what it seems like with your record and just watching, I was watching Scott and learning some more about you as well, as you're a big outdoorsman, you're really good fisherman, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot more practice with it as the years go on, with this.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope so, man. That's the plan. I wanted to get my feet wet this year and see where I stood with some of these guys. And I don't know. I think I found out a little bit. I just wanted to see if I could compete with these guys this year before I got too deep into it. But
well, let's talk. You come down and fish Smith Mountain Lake the other week, right?
What's that?
Did you came down and fished Smith Mountain Lake at the Super Tournament too, right? Didn't you come down here?
Yeah, we showed up there. Yep.
And I mean, what was that like? What was that fishing like for you compared to like most other lakes that you fish?
It was different. You know what I mean? A lot of the lakes up here and ponds and stuff are all clear water, so we don't have the bait like shad and stuff like that. So it's new. I mean, it's the same fish, so you got to catch the same fish. Kind of use some of the same techniques. There are different techniques, but it takes a little bit of adjustment. But
yeah,
figuring out. I've been to the Sandy Cooper. I've been to the Susquehanna. We've been all over this summer, so it's all been quite a learning experience. And now that the seasons get a little towards the end, I'm dialing in a little bit.
Yeah. Now being as you far north as you are, and then going to Guntersville, I mean, how much practice time did you have on that? And then how was you able to dial it in? I mean, like I say, it's a whole different fishery than what you're used to. But like I say, you've been traveling, you've been fishing different bodies of water, so you're kind of dialing it in. But let's start off. How much practice time did you have for Guntersville?
Man, we left here Wednesday morning, so we started pre-fishing Thursday. So I got 6 days in of pre-fishing?
Yeah. 5
days in of pre-fishing.
Now, did you do like some long days, or did you just kind of like do a couple short periods?
Yeah, 10-hour day minimums, pretty much. We were there at first light and pretty much fished till you couldn't fish any longer, whether it's physically or dark.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we just got off the phone with Russ Snyder, and we was talking about like a lot of pre-fishing and all that. Do you like having a lot of pre-fishing, or there be days where you just like, I wish we only had a couple of days of pre-fishing?
No, I mean the more the better. The more water I can cover, and the more subtle hints and clues that I can pick up on throughout the days, the better in my eyes.
Yeah. And how did you work that out? Because I mean, there's a lot of ramps. I mean, and when you go to these different lakes, but how did you work it out to where you didn't beat your fish up too bad? I mean, did you put in a different ramp each time, or did you stay at the same couple ramps or just break it down even more?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much fished at 2 different ramps. I fished at one every day but one. So I fished one for 3 days first, and kind of got it figured out that there were fish there, and I kind of fished it fast, so I wasn't beating up my waters. So I just want to kind of locate some fish and eliminate a bunch of water, and then come tourney time, just really dial it in and pound my spots.
Now
I found a couple of spots that were reloading and stuff, so I felt confident, and that's when I went and just checked out somewhere else just in case I needed a bailout area.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the areas that you had, like we was talking with Russ, did you have like a plan A, plan B in each area, or were you just kind of like, if this don't work, I'm picking up and going somewhere else?
Well, I mean, I had a plan A, plan B, I should say, spot A, spot B. I found some fish out on the main river, and I found fish up in the creek, so I know between the one and two, it was easier for me to catch the fish that were up in the creek than it was for me to catch the fish that were on the main river. I saw a lot of fish on the main river, but I had a tough time getting them to bite, to be honest with you. I mean, I had fish blowing up for 2 hours one day around me, and I got 3 fish out of it, where I felt as though I should have been hooking a lot more fish than that day.
Yeah.
So that kind of deterred me from fishing the main river for the most part.
So, I mean, when it come to baits and your practice, did you have to do a whole lot of changing from practice and through the tournament to stay with them, or did you kind of get in that one area or that particular baits and was able to stay with those fish with those baits?
Well, I kind of had in mind that I was going to go down there and punch till my arms fell off and threw the frog till I wore the braid out. But after being down there for a day and a half, I kind of picked up on that really wasn't going to be the ticket for me. So I kind of had to shift gears and shifted baits and just looked for the fish elsewhere.
Yeah. Now, what was your main go-to baits and your setups that you had to target these fish?
Well, early morning, it was like pretty much each day. Two of the 3 days I had blow-ups on the first cast of the day. So, I mean, I had a pretty solid morning top water bite. And then that kind of was lasting until about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then it'd die off, and then I'd just start pounding it with a jackhammer. I'm running around with that bladed jig, just covering water.
Yeah.
Fixing weed lines and stuff like that.
So that's what you was doing. You just kind of concentrating on those edges of the weeds. And
yeah, exactly. Some hydrilla beds and stuff like that,
Yeah. And it's just crazy, man. The jackhammer, a lot of these big events are going on, a lot of big events that are won. The jackhammer, man, has been like, it's just been crazy how well that bait is done. It's just been mind blowing to me. When you talk to a lot of these guys, I caught them off jackhammer. I'm like, man, what is it in the kayaking side? I mean, you see it in the bass boat too. I see guys throwing it, but it seems like when I fish bass boat events and still do sometimes, the guys don't talk about it as much as they do like throwing a spinnerbait or a crankbait or, a topwater. But man, it's like in the kayaking side, it's the jackhammer is the deal.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I've really turned into throwing that bladed jig a lot more over the last 12 months than I ever have, to be honest with you.
It's just a kind of go anywhere kind of bait.
Yeah, I mean, it catches the small ones and the big ones. So whether you're looking for a limit or looking for a giant, you'll have the opportunity to get either one on that bait.
Now, I don't know if you want to say this or not. It's up to you. But is there like a particular color that you mainly throw that you catch, or do you have a selection of different colors?
Well, back home here, it's mainly a black and blue and, a green pumpkin mix. And, I mean, down there, I was just strictly throwing a white and chartreuse.
Yeah. Yeah, when I throw one, that's what it is. It's white or white and chartreuse. That's about the only two colors I throw in them things. I'll throw a green pumpkin here and there, but I don't even have many of them. Most time I'm going to tie a white one on before I tie anything else on. So what kind of trailer do you run on that? I mean, what was it? Does that make a big difference to you? Like, or do you change that up much? Or
I'll change that up. I mean, whether it's a twin tail or I think they gave us a bunch of Yamamoto trailers with our gift bag for the NC, so it was convenient that it all went together. Once I started throwing the Z-Man, I said, heck, I'll try one of these ones out. I haven't really ever thrown it, and I think it was third cast on my throwing that chatterbait for the first time I hooked up, so I just never turned back.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man. It's phenomenal. I'm glad to see it work out for you like that. Now, going into this event, I know you say you was keying in on your fishing, you were starting to figure the puzzle out, but Did you think that you had the fish to win it, or did they upgrade more as the tournament went on? Did the small ones go out and the big ones come in, or how'd that work out for you?
Well, the quality turned on, but I mean, in practice, like I said, I was just covering so much water that I really wasn't getting to the roots of what fish were there. You know what I mean? I'd catch one and I'd move on, and then I'd go for 2 hours without catching one, covering huge water, and then I'd catch one and I'd slow down a little bit. I realized, like, you know, if you catch one, you're gonna catch probably two, possibly three or four. So once I figured that out after a couple of days, that was kind of like the key. And then I did have a couple of spots where I could catch a couple more fishing fast, so I assumed that's where the majority was. And then I kind of benefited too, I think, maybe from them dropping that water a foot before the tourney, because I was up in the creek and I was in an area where it was just like impassable mat so far back, and then they dropped that water and I had the right wind and it pushed a lot of that mat right back out of that back area, and I think that pushed a lot of the bait fish out with it, and it just seemed like there was a lot more bait once they dropped that water where I was.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, you're covering water. I mean, are you hitting this, like, say the next day when you put in, you're just like, I'm gonna run back down this same stretch of bank because I know they're gonna reload? Is that kind of what you were doing?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to make it so I had to travel too far to get from spot to spot. So the first couple of days, I had a few fish here, I had a few fish over there. So the second day, I kind of ran the same pattern, same route, and I happened to catch a couple of fish in the same spot. So I went back. One day, I caught a couple in one spot in the morning, and then I was fishing around. I went back there at noon, and it was the same exact cast. It was a limited, 30 foot of pad edge, which I don't know why they're there. Obviously there's something there, whether there's a little piece of hard bottom there on the bottom or what, but there was fish pile. I pulled off 5 fish and 3 stops on it throughout the same day. So I knew right there that was going to be one of my good spots to get to. And then I just kind of really investigated areas that were close by and same habitat. And I happened to just run into a few good spots.
Yeah. It's at what point on day 3? I mean, was there a point that you were like, man, was there a fish that was like, man, I just wrapped this up, or was you still kind of like, you know, I don't know. I mean, how was there a point where you get really excited, like, man, I think I just won this thing? Was there a fish that did that for you?
Yeah, that was the. It was at the end of the day, but it was with 18 minutes left. I got a 22 1/4. So at that point, I was like, I mean, unless somebody, I think I had going to day 3, I had a 1-inch lead on second, a 7-inch lead on third, and an 11-inch lead on the rest of the field. So I knew if Jackson could get me, no doubt, and Corey Dry could make something happen on day 3, and he would have to have a really big bag as long as I was consistent and I could put up somewhere in the 80s. And as far as the rest of the field, I figured if I could hit 85 to 90, it was sewn up. But with the other 2 guys, you know how it is you just, especially in Gunnersville. Yeah. I mean, guys had a 25.5-inch fish on the last day, so it was. I felt good and I felt confident. I told myself after day 2, if I go back there in the morning. And that's when I was getting my big ones, was in the morning on that topwater bite. So I was like, if I go back there in the morning and I can get another good fish in this area, then it's game on.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, you said we got a question for him?
Yeah, Wade wants to know, did you fish your pre-fish areas or did you fish something totally new?
What's that?
Did you fish your pre-fish areas or did you fish something totally new?
No, I fished where I pre-fished for the majority of it. Was where I fished all tournament. I mean, I might have covered 200 acres of water each day, and that was it. I was in a zone where I was pretty much, if you've seen my graph, it was pretty much covered up in track lines. I was just pounding and pounding and pounding.
Yeah.
I was missing a lot of fish in the morning. Well, I should say the fish were missing. I was throwing a Lucky Craft Sammy, and I don't know, at 21 and a half, I got opening day. That came up, and I had that by the last treble hook, skin hooked with one hook, and I got it to the boat. They just didn't really want to commit to that bait, but the big ones were hitting it, so I had no choice. I had to just keep throwing it, and I had a lot of misses and a lot of blow-ups in the mornings, but I knew they'd be there still if I missed them, and I might be able to come back and pick them up with a jackhammer later in the day.
Yeah. And that's heartbreaking, too, in a big vent like that when you know them big ones are hitting. You know they're there, and luckily it worked out for you, and that's when you're skin hooking them and you're getting them in a boat, on a consistent basis, too, you know that it's your time because, like, if that was me in a big event, I'm going to lose every single one of them probably right at the boat. So I'm going to get a good look at them and know pretty much how big they are, and then I'm going to lose it. So it's your time, when things like that happen, it just goes right for you.
No doubt.
Now you're going to the expo or what do you call it? I'll call it a weigh-in, but you're going back to the expo and y'all are, they're calling names and you're up there, but what was your feeling like when you were up there and you're telling everybody what you were doing as you in second place? What was going through your mind? For me, I think it would be hard to even talk about it because that's on your mind. That you're getting ready to win. And Chad and them, they do a good job at dragging it out and making you just suffer even more.
Right.
What's going through your mind? I mean, are you having even a hard time putting words together?
Are you talking about on the final day up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was when they started calling guys up, and it was kind of thrown off with how it all went down. But I was really nerved up. I'm like, I seen that guys were getting big fish on that last day, so I was like, and then they called up a couple names that were from the back of the pack, so I was like, this is kind of weird, but we're in Gunnersville, so this guy could have just had a bag of a lifetime and made up that 11 inches.
Yeah.
Even though I had 92. I mean, some guy had 98 inches with a 15 and a 16 in his bag.
Oh, gosh.
On the last day. So, yeah. I mean, I heard that, and I'm like, this could get wild at the end. This could get wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. Hopefully one day maybe I'll have that opportunity to at least be in that situation. But, I mean, after they announced the winner and you're going through, I mean, you got home that night. Did you just finally breathe or did you even sleep hardly? I mean, to me, it'd just be hard to sleep.
Well, I slept. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think it's really even hit me yet, to be honest with you. I just look at it as a tournament that I won, but it's going to hit me here in the next few days, guaranteed. But I was able to sleep. We didn't get back from the awards till midnight anyways, and we knew we had to be out of there by 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, so I was kind of forced myself. But yeah. I was laying there. I ain't going to lie. I was laying there staring at the sailing for a couple hours.
Yeah. Chris, what comments we got coming in right now?
Question: with so much success in your that's someone
wrong one.
I scrolled up.
Just people chit
Chris
chat.
asked if you used a trailer up. I think we already covered that, didn't we?
I don't know. No.
On the spinnerbait?
Oh yeah, on the chatterbait. Yeah. He used the trailer.
That's the only thing we had coming in right now.
I got you. Everybody's just chit chatting in there. So, but yeah, I mean, what are things looking like for you the rest of this year and in 2021? What are you planning on fishing? Are you going to expand out to another series, or are you just going to kind of stay with the KBF?
No, I'm gonna stick with KBF. I got a berth into the 10 house, so I'll be down there in January competing in that. And then, it is deer season, so I don't think I'll be doing much online or anything like that for right now. I'll get out and do some fun fishing and kind of like really enjoy it, Yeah. So, but it is deer season, and that's my other passion. So I usually take a couple of weeks off of work during deer season, but I took more time off this year to go fishing all summer than I probably should have. So I just got to grind it out and work all deer season. That's a sacrifice I told myself I was going to make to put
Yeah.
a full season together and give myself the best opportunity points wise and tournament wise. If I had a couple bad ones, then I could make them up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So let's a lot of people, some people know about you, guys that have been around you at some of the other KBF events and all that, and some people don't know who you are. Let's talk a little bit about you. Let's talk about fishing and your outdoors. But what got you into bass fishing? The kayaking side? What got you into that?
Into the kayak itself?
Yeah.
Derek Brundle, to be honest with you. He got into a kayak. We're doing some John boat tournaments, and he had a small bass boat. We're doing a couple of tournaments in that, and then he got rid of the small bass boat, and he was going to do a local trail around here on the Cape and any bass, and then he ran into a couple of guys. He was fishing out of a John boat, and then he ran into a couple guys with the new canoes, and that just intrigued him big time, and he took off with it, and I was calling him a sissy for rolling around in a kayak the whole time, and you need one. I ain't getting a kayak, dude. But after watching him for a year kill it in that thing, and the convenience of getting that thing around here is, in like a lot of backwoods, so you're dragging your stuff around. There was times when my John boat, I couldn't even get it out of some of the ponds by myself, that I'd drag it down the hill to get into. So
Yeah.
after seeing how he could comfortably stand up, and then the whole trolling motor thing, I wasn't feeling the paddling or the pedaling, so that whole trolling motor thing showed up, and it seemed like that really fitted the way I like to fish, and I would be more mobile. And like, my kayak does not come off the roof of my van. It's on there every 7 days a week, so if no matter where I'm at, I decide to go fishing, I got all the gear in the back, and I can just on the whim, just go at any time.
Yeah. And like I say, you've been doing this for a long while. I mean, did you do any like John boat? I know you said y'all did some together, but I mean, was you real successful in some of your John boat tournaments and all that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I had some victories, but I mean, nothing serious. It was all local stuff. You know what I mean? You might have 10, 12, 15 guys that showed up, but I mean, nothing on this level by any means. Not like when the first KBF event I went to was Sandy Cooper, and there's 130 something guys in it. It was kind of overwhelming. It's like, how you ever gonna win when there's 134 other anglers out there looking to beat you? So
yeah.
And I got a little bit of taste of that when down there. I took a top 10 in my first KBF event, so it was like, it gave me the fever to just hit it hard and chase it for the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you see this kind of being something that you go full time one day, or is you just going to kind of just do it,
I mean, that would be optimal. That would be, that would be optimal, but is it really practical? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've worked for the guy I've worked for 10, 15 years now, carpentry, building houses, so I know I'll always have work. If maybe I might take off some extra time out of work now, but who knows? But I doubt it. I'll just keep grinding it out and get to the tournaments and sacrifice sleep and energy to make up for time to go fishing.
Yeah, that's how we do, man. I mean, you kill yourself all week long through work, and and sometimes still go fishing in the afternoon and get up early and do it all over again, and that's the life we live, man, with like being tired, and you guys especially. I mean, I don't get to do it as much as I used to, but I know when I did it, that's how it was. It was hardcore. It was all or nothing. And it's a tough life, and it's not for everybody. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we had a super trail in Maine. That was the 2-day event, and I had a tough go there second day. And I was kind of up towards the front of the standings, and then I had a tough trail there. Derek had a tough trail there, and we said to each other the next weekend was Virginia's super trail. It's like, we pretty much just got to go and hit it and see how it turns out. If we can scavenge up some extra AOI points to go down to the Trail Series Championship with, then it would be huge.
Yeah.
Because my goal was I was really trying to win Rookie of the Year. That was at the beginning of the year. That's what I set out to do. Whether I came in 50th or 100th AOI, it didn't matter. I was really on the hunt for the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. And you did it and locked it up with no problem.
Yeah, well, no problem. Well, maybe at the end it was no problem, but
Yeah.
I mean, I had to make up 10, 11 spots on, I think it was 4 different guys
Yeah.
if I was going to do it. So it was nerve-wracking, but once I started putting some good limits out, like after day 1 when I had almost 90, I was really pumped because I actually, during practice, I didn't have anything bigger than 18 and a quarter. So when I hooked up to a 21 and a half first morning in the first couple hours, I felt really confident that there was a lot of big fish. And then when that fish hit my jackhammer, it came up, I set the hook, and it took off to the left. And when he waked out to the left, another one waked out to the right. So it was 2 giants there competing for the bait. So that's when it really clicked into my head that first morning, like, there's some good fish here, and there's more than just 1 or 2 or 3. There's some good ones there.
Yeah.
I ended up pulling the 21 and a half, the 22 and a 22 and a quarter, pretty much right in the same area throughout the 3 days.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's when you have, that's when you know it's good. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
It's going to be a good event. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Chris, you said we got a question?
Yeah, Wade wants to know if he has any sponsors.
No. I
yet.
joined Team New Canoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's about it right there for now.
Are you going to try to pursue any, or are you just going to kind of let the fishing do the deal and just see what comes to you?
There might be something going on, but we'll see with time. Like you said, it's only been a day and a half, so
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be national champion. So it's going to settle in, and then once I get a little bit more time to think about things, and I mean, realistically, yeah, I would love to, because that's what I want to do. I want to fish. That's my passion. So
Yeah.
how could I not chase that?
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Chris, we got anything else? I see some stuff coming through, just people talking.
Chris wants to know if he striper fishes the Cape in your kayak.
No, I haven't done any striper fishing from the kayak, but I do a lot of striper fishing on the Cape. But that really suffered this year too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how it is there. I know here in Virginia, people are starting to head down to Chesapeake Bay and all that, because that's the stripers are starting to run in there and get really good. So I don't know how long y'all season that lasts, when it gets real cold.
Yeah, we got the fall migration going on right now, so they're coming down, they're passing through. I mean, I live right off the Cape Cod Canal, so that's like a world-renowned striped bass location. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like as good as fishing Montauk on some days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a couple people ask about your trophy bucks that you got. If you don't mind, I mean, that one you got sitting right behind you. Can anybody see that? I mean, can you move the camera around to see that? I don't know if you can or not.
You see that?
Yeah. Well, we got. Does it look good, Chris? There,
Yeah,
it didn't come through on my screen. Yeah. I mean, how many big bucks do you got that's mounted?
I got a few. I got 5 mounts in here, and I got a bunch of mounts from like just European mounts. You know what I mean? Once you get 5 or 6 going on the wall, they get expensive. So
Yeah.
And I told myself, if I don't shoot a deer that's bigger than what I got right now, then it's not going to get mounted. So I got to pretty much beat what I got on the wall.
Yeah. So
These bucks are from Massachusetts. I mean, you might get a 130-inch buck. Is a 130 to 140 is a real big one around here.
Yeah.
But we do have 160s walking the woods around here.
Wow.
For sure.
That's some nice bucks there. I mean, we get some big ones down here, but that's some nice ones there as well.
Yeah, they get up into the 200-pound range.
Yeah. Now, I've had some friends that's gone up to Canada and done some big buck hunting in Saskatchewan and all that, and just those bucks are crazy, man. They're so thick, because it's so cold, and they're just big, heavy bucks.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, it goes to show, I mean, he's straight outdoor. I mean, he's successful at hunting. He's successful at fishing. You can tell that you got a strong passion just to be outdoors, no matter what it is, no matter what kind of fishing it is. And, I think that's great for the sport. We was talking with, Russ Snyder and how he carries himself and showing professionalism. And I think you're another one that's going to be there as well, just because you're a good quiet. You're just a quiet dude. You know what I mean? It's hard to find any information. You don't even really do Facebook or Instagram, do you?
No, I actually just opened. I've had the gram for a few years, but I just opened up a Facebook account today for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm kind of
you're just a low key guy.
Quiet dude.
Yeah. You ain't worried about
myself for the most part.
That's exactly, man. I like that. I like that with people, and it just, now that, like I say, you just won a national championship, I guess you kind of got to promote it a little bit and get sponsors and all that. So, but yeah, I like it, because I was looking up information. And I'm like, man, I can't find nothing on this dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But man, I don't want to keep you much longer. I know you got in early this morning. I want you to get some sleep, and so this can soak in hopefully by tomorrow or whenever that check goes in your bank account. It'll really soak in. But I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, Chris. We don't have any more questions for him, do we?
No.
Okay.
Just Wade says good luck with your hunting season.
And
thank you.
But like I say, man, congratulations. Thanks for showing your bucks. Appreciate seeing that. And but man, good luck to you this year, and looking forward to seeing your name at the top of that list a lot more often. I think we're going to see it.
I appreciate that, and I thank you guys for having me on here.
Not a problem, man. Good luck to you, and hopefully we'll have you on here again soon, bud.
All right, man. No problem. Thank you.
You have a good one. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. All right. First time I ever had a chance to talk with him. I talked a little bit today on the phone, just kind of setting everything up, but we didn't talk nothing about the tournament. It was all, hey, which contacts, which Skype info, kind of that stuff. So being able to have the chances to get on here and talk with him and talk about his, him getting into the fishing, and because we don't cover that a lot, you know that, Chris. I mean, we don't. A lot of the people we talk to, we don't get into how did you get into fishing kind of deal. You know what I mean? It's always technique and all that. So what's wrong, Chris?
Oh, there we go. She's cutting in and out again.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Is she? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just the weather or what. We've had a pile load of rain today, so hopefully I ain't got like a leak in my internet box.
It
or
ain't
something.
done it since earlier, so it just did that one time right there. So
I got you. I don't know what's going on. It's just that's technology there, and we ain't taking no blame for that.
No.
but anyways, but it was nice having him on, and it was nice seeing that there was a lot with that went down at that event. I mean, like I say, Jackson Orr, he did really well. I mean, you got people getting rescued from kayak fishermen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much going on that it was like a storybook going on, because it was just so much first for people. There was so much, big things happened for some people, so many people, and it's just hard to even talk about how much went down at the national championship. I wish I was able to go. I wish we was able to fish it a little bit, fish more events last year to even have us in the chance to go. We just didn't do a lot with business and everything going on. But I can't tell you this. Next year is going to be a totally different year, and me and James, I think, are going to try a lot more to push in bigger events. And I'm looking forward to going down to Chickamauga and fishing the Bass Nation event down there, the Kayak Bass Nation event. So
that's where Catfish Dave caught that 80-pounder.
Yeah, you got Catfish Dave, and you also got Kayak Catfish down there. So looking forward to fishing that, the Kayak Federation Nation. I call it about 4 different things every time I talk about it, because there's so many different ways to say it, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. That's in my mind. But anyways, guys, I want to thank everybody that's stayed with us. We're going to go ahead and do the giveaway for the Cup Caddy, and then also the RBT custom baits, jerk bait. Also, while the show's going on, if you go on over there, and I'm sure Ron will give you a break if you're about a couple minutes after the show ends. If you go over there and order the jerk bait kit jerk bait kit pack that he has with 3 jerk baits, custom painted for $25, you can't beat it, man. I mean, they're good jerk baits too. They're not like your junk Walmart ones that you throw. You know what I mean? That you could go buy. And I mean, and for the price that you're paying for these, beats the price of like Mega Bass. That works just as good as Mega Bass. Believe me, I've thrown them. I've watched them in the pool. I mean, they look great. They work great. Awesome bait. So make sure you're going over there. $25. You get 3 jerk baits. You can't beat it, but it's only while the show is going on. So what did Ron say right there? I seen something come up.
Oh, that's just why I pinned the comments so everybody knows.
Okay.
He's doing that good smoking deal.
I got you. Sorry. I can barely see it on the screen over there. But yeah, so make sure you go check that out for that. So Chris, what we got a contest. We got winners picked already?
Yeah, I didn't pick winners.
Okay, all right. When we call your name, IM us your information. If you won the bait, you can message Ron if you want to do it that way. And he will get you everything. Or if not, send us your information, and we will go ahead and send it to him, so he can go ahead and send you out those jerk baits. And then also message us too if you for who won the cupcake. Just give us your name, your address, and then what you won, so that way we can go ahead and get everything sent out to you. Now on the Cup Caddy, that won't ship out until Thursday because we did pre-orders on that, so those will be shipping out Thursday.
Yeah.
So. We got a lot of them to ship out, but like I say, yours will be getting shipped out Thursday on that. So, anyways, Chris, which winner are we picking first?
We're doing the RBT first.
We're doing RBT first. So, who was our winner on that?
Derek Linthicum.
Oh, all right. Oh, good job, Derek. All right. Yeah, I know Derek. Congratulations, Derek, on winning that. These are going to be great on Smith Mountain Lake, man. It's getting that time. It is getting that time. We start throwing jerk baits, and it's going to stay that time for a good long while. All the way up through, I throw it all the way up through March. So some people throw them all year long, but good prize pack right there on that. So Derek, we'll just get us your information. If you want, you can send it over to Ron, or you can send it to me. Either way, we'll get them baits sent out to you. All right, let's get on to the Cup Caddy. Who we got there?
All right, we got us a winner.
Drum roll.
Chris Cabrel.
Chris Cabrel. All right, Chris, we're going to go ahead and get that sent out to you as well. Guys, I want to thank y'all for being part of the chat. That's how Chris picks his winners, right? You just who's interacting with the chats and all that. And that's how it's just a random winner when he does it. So just make sure on our next shows, share them, get involved with your friends, chit-chatting on there, man. It's a big part of how our winners are picked. So I also want to thank Chris. We've had several people following the show tonight that were sharing the show. I want to thank everybody that was a part of that. You see your name, it kind of pops up there when they do it. We need to work on making that a little bit bigger so people can, maybe it is big.
Just go to the
and it might be big enough. I just don't see it because it's TV screen so much further from me. But anyways, I want to thank everybody that's been following us, that's been with the show tonight. Also, like I say, if you don't mind, please go over to OneObjective on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing a contest for that here soon. So make sure you get subscribed, because we're going to be doing a contest with that, picking from our subscriber or picking. We're not sure how we're going to do it yet, but just make sure you get subscribed so that way you get updates on it, because all the updates are going to be going through our YouTube. So, but other than that, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please go check out all our sponsors. You see them scrolling through here. They support us. Let's support them. And also go to OneObjectiveBF.com. We got a lot of kayak rigging and stuff. We're going to be having a lot more stuff coming up on our website soon with tackle. That's going to be our big thing this year, growing. So you're going to be seeing that. Like I say, we're going to be having some shaky heads coming up there. We're going to have, that was drop shots. And then we're going to have some shaky heads. Raw right now, but as the year goes on, we're going to start getting our painted ones and doing our painted baits up there as well. So, and then hoping to expand out to some bigger brands. But also, we got a little bit of everything on there for you guys. The Cup Caddy, if you didn't win tonight, you can go on OneObjectiveBF.com. Order the Cup Caddy. Chris, just put that picture back up here again. That's a new product we just come out with. It's going to be shipping Thursday. So if you get your order in here soon, if you order it now, it might be Thursday or it'll be Friday when it gets shipped out. But it'll be getting shipped out this week. So also, if you're rigging out a kayak, want a trolling motor setup, go in there and check it out. If you don't see anything that fits your boat, message us, because we might be able to get it on your boat. So But anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. Chris, I appreciate you coming down, helping out with the show and all that you do.
No problem.
It means a lot because there's no way I could work all that in and do this. So, but anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll holler at you later. See you.
See ya.